Why are we doing this topic again? Why are we doing this series? Oh, wait. It's because it's Love Month. Yes, boys and girls. My name is Damien. For those that do not know me, I am the youth leader at Mnandi Methodist Church. And welcome to another series and week 2 of God, Love, and Sex. Now, before we carry on, let us jump into our first verse, which it comes from Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, and it says here, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. All right, so that is our key verse for today. And our topic for the day is perfect seasoning. So yes, like if you want to put some salt and some spice on a steak or in food, same type of the same type of picture that you get from that. All right, so now we're going to be looking at before and also after marriage and how this all entails. You'll hear more about marriage as we go along as well. So we want to look at the first one today, and it says you will have a season for preparation. So this is your single life, okay? Single life is all about preparation. So in other words, single life is a phase, okay? This is a phase where you work on yourself, you work on that journey with God, you work on, your relationship with God as well, and you just basically you are building a temple. Let's put it that way. It's like building the temple, okay? And it says here in Song of Songs 2, and it goes from 11 to 12, it says here, see, the winter is past, and the rains are over and gone. Flowers appear on the earth. The season of singing has come. The cooing of doves is heard in our land. So it's basically saying, there's always a time, and this time is where, things start happening in your life. Things develop, things change, things always come through. There's tests, there's so many things that happen in our life during this time. But the thing is, the winter, okay, so think about it. During winter, that's when we normally plant seeds like flowers and vegetables and all that sort of stuff. So we plant them, and it's all about preparation, okay? So specifically, it's talking about winter is past. So it's talking about the season that we are in. So in other words, for you guys, you might have a boyfriend and girlfriend, or you might not have a boyfriend and girlfriend. Either way, you're still considered single until you are married, technically. Okay, that's according to when you have a CV. It says, are you single, married, widowed, or divorced? Okay, so it's got those categories. So normally you would say single, even if you are dating somebody. So it's kind of weird, but it's what we call the single phase. Okay, so yes, even though you might be dating someone now, it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh my word, I can go date someone else. No, it's actually talking about you yourself. You haven't put a ring on a finger, okay? It's still that phase where you're still growing with God. You're still focusing on yourself, okay? And then the next one is, do not rush into spring prematurely. Ooh, okay, so what does this mean? You do not rush into things, okay? I know how it is in a relationship. You want to do absolutely everything. You want to kiss, you want to cuddle, you want to do all those things, but do not do it prematurely, because sometimes it ends up where you start doing something that you don't want to do. Okay, makes sense. So we need to understand that our single life is a time of preparation. Do not just jump into a relationship because that's what you want. I mean, there was a time in my life where I was, man, I'm tired of being single. I don't want to be single anymore. I want a girl. Eventually I got to a point where it was like, you know what? It's fine. Okay. For example, I'm single at the moment, but I'm not going to go and look for any girl that is on social media or even out there and say, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? No, I don't do that, because again, like the topic says, perfect seasoning. There's going to be a time where I'm going to find someone, or even you're going to find somebody, and you're going to go, hey, boom, this girl is the one, or this guy is the one. Okay, you will know it, you will feel it, you will have that, that discernment, like, man, this one's definitely right. In other words, there's no doubts, there's no issues, nix. Okay, so, but what we also need to understand is you may have a season of perfection. This is what we call the honeymoon phase. Everything is going perfectly, everything is going well, and at the end of the time, it seems like everything's just fallen into place, okay? But sometimes some issues come along the way, okay? During this time, it's basically, it's a limit. It's a time limit, okay? You've got your own time. It's your talk, your touch, everything. It's just you, okay? It's just you. But you must also remember, you need to limit things such as, limit your time. So in other words, for you and God, make sure you don't limit that, but limit time for the other things. So I'm not saying, like, maybe there's a guy or girl, make sure you kind of limit the time so that you're not rushing. Okay. So that's basically what it's saying here. And it's all about, timing, and also things might seem perfectly and going well, but don't just jump into it. That's what I'm saying. Okay. And the nice thing is, you're going to have a season of discovery, and it's basically when you discover something new about yourself and your partner. Okay, so whether you're single or whether you're dating someone, you're going to discover something new. Okay, it's all about, discovering something new about your partner. So maybe you found out, oh, there's a certain hobby he or she likes, or maybe there's a certain interest that sparks between you, going, oh, I didn't know that you like this too, that type of thing. But, you need to be able to, in this time, when you are dating or even single and you're looking to, get into that relationship with that boy or girl that you might fancy, speak about your past and, say this, this is my plans. Okay. It's always good to talk. If we talk more, the better. I know it sounds like, you're a chatterbox, but if you can communicate with one another, it's important, because you want to know what was it like in her past or his past. Was there something that happened that maybe is stopping him from, expressing a feeling or, talking to you about something? Maybe there's something that happened there. Okay. Always try and find this out, but don't nag on it, because everyone's going to tell you eventually. All right. Okay. And then all these seasons protect your purity. So what does that mean? No sex before marriage. Yes, technically the reason for this is that it helps you. Okay, maybe you have done it before marriage. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Okay, but learn from it and say, you know what? Maybe I should have waited for that the right person. It's going. These things do happen where you find someone that has done it, but then he says it was only one time, or she says it was only one time. It was a mistake, and I have not done it ever since. Okay, it does happen where you get those people that have made mistakes. We are human, but I'm not saying it gives you an excuse to go and do it. All right. But we need to understand there are some practical tips that I'm going to read here for you. And it says here, inform others of your limits. So in other words, say, listen, I'm not going any further than this. Draw a line, set a boundary. Healthy boundaries is good. Okay. Keep keep 4 on the floor. Okay. So in other words, your feet and her feet are on the floor, or other way around, and you are not going anywhere, in other words, you making sure it's not on a bed, not on a couch, it's on the floor, or like you're standing and you're away from each other, okay? You got it. Good. All right. And the next one is keep everything buttoned and zipped. So in other words, this is if you really are serious about saving yourself for marriage, this is what you need to do. Make sure everything is buttoned and zipped. So in other words, zip up, no showy, no feely. That's how it is. You don't show, you don't feel. No. Okay. And then avoid swapping spit. Okay, it's all right to give each other a kiss. I know it's a sign of affection, but try and avoid the really intimate, okay, a peck on the cheek, but try and avoid that real make-out session, okay? Now, I know it sounds like I'm lecturing you guys, but I'm not, I promise. I'm giving you practical tips on how to save that purity. I mean, it's difficult. It is difficult, but we need to push through. Okay, so there's a nice little thing from the Song of Songs, from Songs of Songs 2, verse 15. It says, "You catch for us the foxes, the little foxes that ruin the vineyards, our vineyards that are in bloom." Okay, now those little foxes are temptations. Those little foxes, and just get rid of them because they're not supposed to be there. All right. Now, obviously, we need to understand that when you get married as a covenant, two become one. Okay, and that is why sex before marriage, it shouldn't actually happen. I know it. In today's world, we find that a lot of the time we find couples are actually doing it, but the thing is, if you are serious about doing it, and let's say you feel guilty of it, that you've done it before marriage, go to God and ask for forgiveness. The nice thing is we serve a merciful God, but we need to understand that just because He's merciful, we shouldn't do it every single time. And I want to encourage each and every single one of you that are serious about this, go and check this out. Go and, say, God, I want to work on myself, but I need your help. Ask God for help. It's always good to speak to God about these things. And if you do have a boyfriend and girlfriend, make sure you say, guys, hey, I don't want to do this. I want to do this at marriage. Set some boundaries. It is good to set boundaries, guys. You don't have, yes, you might sound like the spoil sport, but you'd rather be the spoil sport and regret something that you've done and maybe make a mistake and, either getting pregnant or getting someone pregnant, for example. You might love the person a lot, but just remember there are consequences for every action. Just remember that. Okay. Now, I've got some questions that I need you guys to ask yourself. And it's like, how can you be preparing to position yourself for God's relational blessing? So in other words, how do I position myself to, get the person that really will understand me and will care for me and I her or I him, that type of thing. Okay. And also, how can you have someone that is also very godly? Remember, last week we spoke about faithful attraction, all about that man and woman of God, all right? Okay, and then write down also, here's another one. Define it practically, how you will guard against the foxes of sexual impurity. How do you stop those temptations? Think practically, what can you do? Well, I gave you 4 tips. Like, for example, inform the person, listen, this is my limit. I'm not going any further. Keep everything on the floor. So in other words, nothing is going to be wandering. Okay. And I'm talking hands and mouth and, not a lot of kissing. That's another one. And then also keeping everything buttoned as zipped. Okay, that's normally when all things go haywire. Okay, is when kissing starts and then it progresses. Okay, but we need to understand, it says here in Ephesians 5:3, it says here, but among you there must not be a hint of sexual immorality. Okay, I know it sounds like Paul was like, okay, but Paul actually gave us a good guideline on, between single and being married and all that, and I'll give you the verse on the group as well to go and check it out. Really amazing verse. But guys, we must remember, make sure you know where you are, set those boundaries, because that is important. Okay, guys, the reason why I do doing this series, or why we're doing it, is because of the way things have changed in the world. And also we need to understand that we do not have contact with you as much as we used to. For example, seeing you guys every Sunday at church. Currently we're doing everything via YouTube. It does happen where it gets a little difficult, but I need you guys to understand that this is just tools for you guys to use, so that even though we're not around physically, that you still have the tools that we give you as well. So I hope you understand. And guys, I hope that you have an amazing Sunday and stay blessed. And for those that are starting school this coming week, good luck. I'll be praying for you, and I hope that we can see each other very soon. And just remember, we are always here for you. Have a great day and be blessed.